Hi guys, welcome to Orthodox Techie channel. Today we are going to study about networks and server concepts. In our first session, we are going to study about Active Directory. Okay, what is Active Directory? It is a centralized directory store that holds systems and users information and resource information of an organization. Okay, the better example I can come up with is a telephone directory. You all know what is telephone directory. In a telephone directory, you will have a person's name, phone number, and address information like that. Similar way, in Active Directory, you will have the user's information and computer's information of a network in a single place. So, why we need to use Active Directory? Basically, Active Directory is a server client architecture where the clients will request the information from the server and the server will provide the service to the clients. Okay. Before that, we are using a peer-to-peer network. Okay, peer-to-peer network is like a workgroup count. Each individual PC will be connected with each individual PC. So, if the user has to log in to one PC, we need to create a login account for that user in a individual PC. Then only he can able to log into that machine in a workgroup. So, Active Directory has reduced the complexity and that purpose. So, for peer-to-peer network, it will be possible for within smaller networks. So, in our server client architecture, that all your login details will be in a central place. So, the user has to, if the user used his login details in a machine, it will request the server for authentication, and if the authentication has been accepted, the user can able to log into the individual machine. The server which provides the server service of Active Directory is called domain controller. Okay, what is domain? First, domain is a group of computers joined with a single network where the policy will be applied to commonly all machines. There are several types of domain controllers we have. One is primary domain controller, another one is additional domain controller. Additional domain controller is for backup purpose. So, if the primary domain controller something failed, means we can bring up the additional domain controller as a primary domain controller. So, another concept is a child domain controller, where you can create a subdomain for a root domain. Like if the domain is like a test.com, you can create a subdomain like sub1.test.com. okay, the users under the subdomain will be requesting the domain to child domain, and the general policy will be applied from the root domain. On the other hand, the tree domain controller is there. The tree domain controller is like outsourcing the domain controller. So, that domain will not be in a part of our organization, but it will be like attested to the root domain. So, if the user is belong to the root domain and he can able to log into the tree domain machines. So, that's the tree domain controller concept. So, the Active Directory is a service which from a Microsoft, they shipped this service as a server with a server OS editions. It was introduced on 2003 first, and later on it has been enhanced to several other features. Other than Active Directory service, there are other services which will be presented in a server OS. So, based on that, they have created some editions for server OS: data center edition, standard edition, essential edition, and Hyper-V edition. Each editions will have a separate limitation in usage. Okay, we are going to continue on to the configuration of Windows Server AD. So, for that we need a computer with minimum 4 GB of RAM. this 4 GB of RAM is not for a server OS, it's needed for visualization software. If you are going to use this lab in a visualization, this visualization software requires the 4 GB RAM, but Windows Server you can able to install within 1 GB or 512 MB on also. So today we are going to install AD in a Windows Server 2016 version in a standard in our lab. So let's begin. For that I'm using Windows Server visualization as a VMware workstation. You can also download the source from the web. You can also use Windows Server Evaluation OS, which is a 180 days package. You can download it from the directly from the Microsoft site. You can have an ISO format as well. So once you download it, you can able to create a VM with it. You can use two type of visualization software. There are other also, but these two are so familiar. VirtualBox is the visualization software. It's a free one. You can download it and use it. On the other hand, VMware Workstation is a licensed version. However, you can use VMware Player as a free version. It will have limitations over the Workstation Pro, but you can create a VM on that. So once you get the ISO file, you can create a new visualization as like go to new, type next, select the ISO file from the here, and once you type this ISO file, you can give next. You can give a VM name and the path for the VM name, VM to store. Next, you can have a hard disk size. You can have it in a single partition file, or you can have it in a multiple partition file. Okay. Once you get once you completed, you will have this configuration. The path, you can view the path and the workstation version and the operating system version, and you will have a network adapter as well. So if you want to customize the hardware, you can go here. You can increase the memory as well, and also the processor also. You can apply any processor you can want. And for network adapter, you should attach one network adapter here. Either it's a NAT. NAT is a network adapter which it will be bind to your local host. So host only is a network adapter, is a private one where you can communicate with internal VMs only. Okay, you can also customize the network settings like here while going like virtual network editor, where you can find the creation of network based on your wish. Okay. Let's power on the virtual machine. It's getting started. Okay, it came now. Let's log in with the credentials. Okay, when you get into that OS, the server manager will automatically be opened. Okay, or else you can go here and click on server manager. Server manager is a central place you can do the configuration, and you can also monitor other servers and features of these servers also. Okay, this is the server manager. It's loading. Okay, this is the server manager. This is the dashboard of the server manager, where you can find the installed roles and features in a dashboard. In a local server, you will get the information of this local machine, like computer name and the domain it's in a group, and what domain it's in. Okay, if you want to rename the server, you can go on here, and if you want to enable remote settings, you can go. For the machine to convert into a AD, you need to apply a private IP, like static IP you need to apply. Okay, first see that we find what IP is in file. Okay, 120.148, we can apply that itself. Or else you can do anything you wish. Like I'm going to apply here as a 10 to 255.255.20.1, because we should use AD in a static IP. If you are using DHCP, it will resolve to the new IP for a certain period of time. For that AD we can't do that, it will be get into trouble. For DNS server, we can use the same as a DNS server, or else you can also use a loopback IP as well. Sorry, 10. Okay. Okay, we've got the IP. So let's start with the configuration. So for the configuration, you need to go add roles and service, or else you can also find here as this option. You can go here. I'm going for full screen. Next, the role based or feature based installation. If you are going to create a role in this particular PC, means you can give as a role based installation, or else you can use as a remote desktop service installation for VDI configuration. VDI is a big concept, we will come into that later. Okay, select a server from the server pool. Okay, so this is the IP you are going to get from this machine. Click next, and here these are the roles you will be shipped with the Windows server. In that, we are going to select Active Directory Domain Service. When you get to select that, you will have this additional features. It will be enabled automatically. Add that feature. You will also need a DNS. That AD should be as a DNS. Can go next, and next, and next, and this. If you want to export that configuration settings we have done, you can export as a XML file, and later on if you want to do it repeatedly for any other servers, you can do it here. It's starting the installation. Each and every feature will be installed. So it's going to take some quite time. It can run on backwards. Let me see what are the options we can do. Further about, I need to use another machine to get into that domain as a client, so I'm also switching out that machine. Okay, the feature and the role has been installed in this machine. We need to promote this server as a domain controller. Then only it will have the option to create a domain. So promote this as a domain controller. So before that, this server is in a workgroup condition, like this is in a workgroup, like workgroup group domain. So the user, if the user has to log in, means we need to create a individual user login here in this particular PC. Then only user able to log in. So we are going to move that workgroup PC into a domain. So when you promote this as a domain controller, it will automatically move this machine into a domain. So we are going to create a new domain here, like test.local. You can have also like test.com, anything you want, but it should be like test, your AD name and like dot and the domain name. I'm going to give as a test.local. Okay, this machine also up. Let's get into that. Okay, here we are came into domain controller option. The forest functional level is the up limit of the servo function we have to deploy through all your domain. The domain function is that this domain controller server versions, you can also reduce the domain if the forest function level is higher up. If you set the forest function level to 2008, and you can have this option here. If the forest function is already in a higher level, you have to choose only higher for domain functions. And domain name system, the domain controller should have the capabilities of domain name system service. Domain name system is nothing but a tool to convert a name into IP and IP into a name. Once you get into the network, all machines will have a separate IP like private IPs, and all machines will have a separate common name. But we cannot remember the name. We can remember the system's name as in our mind, but we can't have IP in our mind for a long time. So for that, this is the recovery purpose. I am going to set something like password to recover if the server has been get into fault. Give next. NetBIOS name is a short name for test.local. It will come as a test. Give next. Okay, these are the database folder where you can find the information of users and computers will be in this data store, but you cannot open that and look like a text document. It will be in an encrypted format. So in a work group, before getting to the domain, the work group will also have a users list document. You can find it here, Windows System 32. Setup. Okay, I will show later. I don't want to here. And next, this is the script. You can create a AD within PowerShell itself. If you use this option in a PowerShell, you can create AD with the remote itself. Okay, if you want to save it for a later use, you can save here. You can edit this option and create some other domain also and use it for other purposes. I'm giving next. Before finishing, it will pre-request the domain controller operations like our configurations. Okay, all prerequisites are checked passed successfully, so we can install now for domain controller. Okay, installation is finished and it's automatically restarting the machine. So once it is restarted, it will be provoked into a domain controller from the workgroup server. So As I already said, I also opened another machine which we are going to use it as a client. We are going to use this machine to join domain for join domain of this machine what we have created before. So before that, in a client machine, we need to change the DNS IP of this client machine. If it is using in an office environment, you can set it by the switches and the router configuration itself. For now, this lab purpose, I'm doing this manually. So I'm giving the DNS IP of that server machine like 20.10. So apply that. Once the IP has been DNS IP is applied to the client machine, you can join the client machine to the EAD we are created here. So it is applying the computer settings and the domain settings to that server. It's going to get soon. Okay, in fact, I am also introducing you. So before using virtualization, if you are not familiar with virtualization, you need to enable the virtualization settings in a BIOS itself, because in default this virtualization settings will be in a disabled mode when you are getting your desktop or a laptop. So before using virtualization software, you need to enable the virtualization settings in a BIOS itself. So if you are using Intel machines, it will be like Intel VT virtualization technology. If you are using AMD means it will be like AMD virtual technology. So before using virtualization software, make a note like you need to enable virtualization feature in a BIOS itself. Then it will be able to create virtual machine within this host machine. Otherwise, we can have Hyper-V as a option. If you are not familiar with the other virtualization, if you are not able to use another virtualization software means, you can have a inbuilt virtualization software like a Hyper-V. For that, you need to enable that Hyper-V option in your machine. If you are using Windows 10, it will be having an option like virtualization Hyper-V. So if you enable this Hyper-V option here, you will have the virtualization software freely. You don't need to use any other virtualization software third party. So I'm so familiar with the VMware workstation, so I'm using this lab for in a VMware workstation. If you want to get to know about Hyper-V, you can enable that Hyper-V option and you can use it as a Hyper-V visualization. Okay, the machine is restarted. We are getting into that machine. So once you restarted, this machine will be under this test domain we have created in the server. Okay, we are logging into that machine. So when you promote a local workgroup server into your domain controller, your local administrator ID will be moved to the domain administrator ID. So the local administrator, if the user can use the local administrator password for domain administrator. So this is our domain. You can see the roles we have enabled in this server. So if you're using AD, we are using ADDS, it's like a Active Directory Domain Service, and like DNS, like Domain Name System Service. So this machine is promoted as a domain controller. You can check like here. So this machine is under the test domain. So now we are adding this client machine to that domain. For that you can use system.cpl, or else you can go control system settings, where you can find the computer name and workgroup. Currently this machine is in a workgroup. So when you get into change settings, you will have this window where you can find this change option here, and here you can give a domain name test.local. So if you giving OK, means it will ask the credential of that domain which has authorized to add this machine to that domain. You can also use PowerShell. So this is the GUI option. If you are using PowerShell, means you can also do that. I am going to PowerShell. In PowerShell, add computer is the command name to use to join this client machine to that domain. Add computer, we have hyphen domain name, give it in a quotation, test dot local as the domain name we have created before, and the domain credentials as test, that also in a quotation, test / administrator. So and also give force as a command if you are not an administrator profile. So it will ask the password. I am giving the password of that administrator domain. So if you are not able to see the font, means I will just increase the font for now. Okay, this is the command to add a client computer to the domain computer. Before that, we need to have the DNS IP in the client computer. For office environment, you can have the DNS IP from the router and switch configuration itself. It will push the DNS IP from the switch and the router. So add computer hyphen domain name and the domain name of that AD and the credential which are authorized to place the client machine to that domain. Changes will be applied. You can also do that in a command itself. Restart computer. So I'm restarting the client machine. Once it restarted, you can find the details of the client machine added in a domain controller. So once you get into the domain controller, you will have the options like you will have that MNC console, MMC. In that you will have the option like Active Directory users and computers, where you can find all the list of computers and the users you have created in a domain. Okay, this is the domain name you have created. Under that you will have each container for each purpose. So built-in is container, where we will get a default group of for various purposes. You will have administrators for this AD control, and also you have a computer container where the list of client machine added. So see, the client machine of server 2 has been added to this domain, and list of domain controllers if you are using any other domain controller additionally from this domain controller. This is also a domain controller, so it is listed in a domain controller container. So in a users container, you will have a list of pre-default users list and a groups list. So domain admins, domain users, the list of users we are creating normally will get automatically into this domain user group. So before, you can also create a user account here itself, but for office use, for a structural purpose, you can also create a new OU for what UU. You need to select domain, new, organizational unit. OU is an organizational unit where you can have a group of same containers. You can have a containers in a OU. I'm going to give like test users as a container name, and here you can create a new user. Like I'm creating like demo 1 and demo 1 as a user name. These are the details you need for mandatory. I'm creating user and giving a password. And creating a password, you can have this option, user must change password at next login. So when the user used to log on first, they will have the option to change the password at their own, or else we can give a definitive password from. I'm going to leave it as giving next. So this is the user ID created here. From this user ID, you can able to log in a client machine. You can go other user demo 1 and given the password I have created. So see, you will have the option to change the password, default password set by IT. I'm going to change the password as well. Okay, like okay, it is logging now in a demo 1 which we have created in a domain controller ID. So this so the client machine is requesting the server with the username and password we have given, and once the server domain controller received that request, it will pre-checks with the list of AD services and user list in a AD services, and it will authenticate that user to log into the client machine. Hope you all understand that. So in next session we will see about the DNS configurations. Thank you. Please subscribe to our channel.